All right, guys, I'm finally getting to the Luckeep M5 Max electric bike review. It's been sitting in my garage for probably over a month, and I've been super excited about this bike. I love how it looks, and today is the day we're finally going to review it. Now, if you don't know anything about this bike, this is the one that only has the rear motor. If you want the Ultra, it does have a front motor, and it has a little bit more power. It also comes with 2 batteries. This one is a single battery version. It's 52 volt and it's 20 amp hours. The other one would go right behind this battery and it would slot in from the top, which is super nice because it still gives you so much room to have a basket down here for storage, sodas, whatever stuff that you get at the grocery store. It also has pedals, so it's legal because this bike does go up to 37.5 miles an hour with that 1500 watt nominal motor that peaks at 2000 watts. Now, with that size of motor that they have in the back and the 20 amp hour battery, which gives you all the specs on the side right there, they say you can get 80 miles of range out of this bike, but realistically, I think you're only going to get roughly about 25 miles of range out of it. I think that 80 miles is probably if you have both batteries and you ride in a lower pedal assist. I gotta give them props on how they set this up because you get 2 keys right here and you can undo this latch, flip it up, and you can access your battery right here. Here's how it looks with that lid flipped up. Obviously, you can see where our battery would go. You can see where the second battery would go right here. It's basically the same as the stock battery. This is where you charge it. So keep in mind, you do always have to take this cover off to charge the bike. So that is a little unfortunate. I would have liked to seen the charging port like on the side or something like that to make it a little bit easier. But I really do like that this is all covered up. This is the plug right here that's gonna run to your controller. So if this is disconnected, then your bike's not gonna run. But you do have to disconnect this so you can get the battery out, and to get the battery out, this is the locking mechanism. Just put it to this side right here. Then you have a handle and then you just lift it up from there. Mine is pretty snug in there. Keep in mind, I have pulled it out, but it was also scratching the whole side of the battery and also started ripping off my sticker. So I'm just gonna leave my battery in place for now, but that's how you take it out. And here's how someone like me that's 5'9" sits on the bike. The seat height is about 33 inches and it's perfectly fine for me. My feet are bent, no issues. I love the pedal position and I love the BMX style handlebars because it makes you kind of feel upright because they do have a rise to them instead of being really leaned over the bike like this. So this is a nice seating position. The seat also feels really nice and plush as well. This bike it's decent heavy, but it's not as heavy as you would think it's gonna be. It's 102 pounds. And the crazy thing about this, they say you could be 7'2" to ride this bike. I think that's a little bit on the high side for people that, you know, are a tall person because a 7'2" is way up here. But the cool thing is, if you are a heavy person, this is a 400-pound weight limit of a bike. Something really nice about this bike is I wanted to flip it around for you guys so I could show you guys the cockpit area and all that kind of stuff, like the display, and it has NFC. And it has a nice handle in the back right here, which you can just lift it up and move it wherever you need be. But anyways, moving on back to the front, on what I originally wanted to show you guys is how everything's looking. So these are some cheap rubber grips. Decent, but not that great. They're really pretty hard. This is a headlight button right here. This is your turn signal button right here. So yes, this bike does have turn signals. However, it is not in the front whatsoever. It is only in the rear of that tail light. And keep in mind, there is no notification that pops up on here, no beeping noise. So you got to make sure to turn them on and off. And since you don't have any on the front, you're not going to be able to see when those are actually on. So make sure you kind of pay attention to that so people know what you're doing. You got your horn button below that. This is your M button for going into the modes and stuff like that. And then this is your pedal assist up and down to go faster or slower. I put my phone mount up here so we can see what our speed is compared to the speed on here. This is a full color, and I'll show you guys how this works in a second. 7-speed Shimano, full twist throttle on the right hand side. Now moving on back to the display, you got to come over here, hold the M button. It's going to show NFC, and you're going to have these NFC cards. So you're going to have to keep these on you. Doesn't matter which one you use. It's not like a red key or a black key. They're all the same. It's not going to give you any extra power. We're actually going to change the power right now as well. But check out this display. It's super nice, you know, I mean, it shows color, it's nice and bright. I love that it has power over here, speed over here, your pedal assist, you can see that going up and down. You can hit this to see your trip, your max speed, your average speed. And you can also read voltage, which is absolutely nice. I love seeing that right there, so you always know where your battery is instead of going off of here. But it's cool because you have percentage and you have battery bars and you have voltage. So that is the way to go. I love it. Here's one cool thing to note is that your dedicated headlight button comes on and off with the push of a switch. But you can also hold this top button and you'll see that there's a headlight switch right there. And what that does, it turns on a daytime running light. So if you have that notification on your display that shows a headlight and you didn't hit the headlight button on, it's a daytime running light. And that's how it looks. And I think it looks badass. All right, so back to the screen. We're gonna go into the advanced settings, make sure to unlock this bike as fast as we can make it. So we're gonna go all the way over. It's one of these settings right here. So here we go. P08. This is at 51. This is in kilometers, keep in mind. So I think that's somewhere around 30 miles an hour if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna bump this up and we're gonna go all the way to 100 and then we're gonna hit save, and then that means our bike should go as fast as possible. And there we go. And that's the only thing I'm gonna come in here and change. Everything else you should probably just leave alone. If you wanna exit this menu, just hold the plus and minus and it'll bring you back to the original display. I guess I should take this off for you guys because it's already peeling off anyway. Oh, so satisfying. Now real quick before I show you guys all the headlights and stuff like that, I just kind of want to see what speed this bike will reach with no one on it now that I unlocked it, and how it sounds as well. So here we go. Okay, it's actually pretty quiet. 36 miles an hour without anyone on it. So I wonder if we're gonna get that speed when I'm actually sitting on it. And keep in mind, that was in pedal assist 5, the maximum you can go up to. All right, so now let's move on to the headlights, the brake light, and the turn signals that we have in the back. So I'm gonna hit the headlight on, and I gotta say, I'm pretty close in the garage, so if I back up, this looks like a very, very wide headlight, and it looks very bright, and that looks like it's even slightly higher than it needs to be off the ground, and it looks like it goes pretty low, so I'm pretty happy with that headlight. Now, I haven't tested this out at night yet. If you guys are new to the channel, I do a full night video on all these bikes. So this is basically the first part of the review. If you want to see the night review where we actually do the range test and check out all these lights at night, then like the video, subscribe, something so you can come back and find this channel however it works for you. Here is the brake light really quick. I gotta say, I've been checking out the brake light a little bit, and if you go off of my hand, it gets brighter, obviously, but Luckeep has their logo right in the middle, and they have a white background to it. So it almost kind of makes the middle of the light kind of pinkish, because you got that red and that white mixed in there. And it also blocks a lot of just the tail light in general getting brighter. So maybe I can show you that a little bit better if you check that out. See how they have the logo right in the middle, so when you hit that, I wish the tail light got brighter. Anyways, that's what I'm trying to get at. And here's the turn signals. So that is the left one, and here is the right one. And I guess if you're right behind the bike, you can't really see it too much, but if you are on the side like I am right here, I can definitely see it pretty clear. But it is kind of tinted in a way. It looks like it has a tint to it. So it's not the best that I've seen, but hey, it's integrated, it's cool, and you know, just safety reasons. But I don't really know if traffic's gonna see it, but I mean, your bike friends on the trail are probably gonna see it. Oh, one thing I gotta show you guys, below that turn signal is your horn. So it's decently loud in the garage. You can see right behind that headlight, that's where the horn noise is coming from. But I gotta see how it sounds on the street. And that's my cue to tell you guys, we're gonna get the GoPro, we're gonna put the helmet on, and we're gonna see how this thing performs on the actual road. Now, I gotta tell you, this bike is coming in, if I didn't mention, at $14.99. I do have a coupon code. It's gonna take about $100 off, so you guys can get it for about $1,400, which, looking at the bike, it looks like it's worth $1,400. You can't tell me this bike doesn't look like it's worth that type of price. However, riding it is always a different experience. So I'm gonna tell you guys my final thoughts towards the end of this video, but let's see how it does through all my tests right now. All right, we're on the bike. We got our speed meter up here. We're gonna reset everything and we should be good to go. Hit record and start. All right, guys, we're out here. The bike looks even way better out in the sun, especially with these gum wall tires on here. I mean, this thing looks badass. They make this in a bunch of different colors. I gotta say, the red is probably gonna be my most favorite, or I would go with all white. You can't go wrong with white, but red just pops. So if you wanna be noticed, get the red one. So one thing I noticed when I took this out for a spin, I was like, wait, okay, I got keys for this, so I had to lock this down. I got the keys in my pocket right now. Then what you have to do is you have to have these in your pocket as well, or you can just strap them onto one of the cabling that I did. You need the NSCs on you at all time too, because that's the only way you can turn the bike on. I'm gonna technically take these off because I know it's gonna make a little bit of noise, but if it doesn't bother you on your ride, then just attach them somewhere up here so it's easy to get to. But that's another thing I just had to put in my pocket. All right, so the first things we gotta figure out, obviously pedal assist 0 will have no throttle response. Also, no pedal response. And if we put it in 1, let's see how fast 1 goes. Okay, it seems like 1 is unlimited with the throttle. So we're gonna have to use the pedals to see how fast each mode goes. So mode 1 brings us up to about 11 miles per hour. Mode 2 brings us up to about 15, 16 miles an hour. Mode 3 brings us up to 21 to 22 miles an hour. Mode 4 brings us up to about 24 or 25 miles an hour. And then mode 5 will give us all the power possible, which hopefully will bring us up to our top speed, which we're gonna test right now. I'm gonna do the speed test starting at 0 miles an hour. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. Takes off nice and gradual, nothing violent or rough. It was real nice and smooth out of the gate. We're already doing 20 miles an hour, so it's not a slouch. Maybe from 0 to 5, it was kind of hesitant to move, but after that, it's not too bad. Now, it looks like we hit 30 miles an hour pretty quick, but after that, it's still moving, and I can hear the motor wanting to give us more speed, but I only see 36 on here, and I see 33 on here, so I'm not seeing like 36 or 37 miles an hour on what the specs say on their website. I don't think it goes that high, and we did unlock it to the maximum speed. So that maximum speed is really gonna be if you're probably a very light rider. I don't feel like I'm a super heavy rider. I'm 161 pounds, and I'm only able to go this fast. So you're gonna have to be like 100 pounds to probably hit 36 miles an hour. We'll keep an eye on that to see if that gets any higher. There we go, I just saw 34. So maybe we just gotta break in the bike a little bit, but we'll keep paying attention to that and we'll see where our maximum speed is at the end of this video. And I guess since we're out here, let's try out the horn. Okay, well. Yeah, no, cars are not gonna hear you at all. People on the trail, maybe, but you gotta be pretty close to them for people to hear that. You know something I'm gonna try is I hear the motor picking up speed, and as soon as it reaches 36 miles an hour, it feels like it cuts the motor power. So I wanna see if I can change the wheel diameter to trick it into giving us more speed. See if we can do this on the fly. Oh, sweet, we can get into the P settings while moving. All right, so where's our wheel diameter speed? Here we go, 24. Let's move this down. I'm gonna put it at 22. I forget which way I gotta go, but I think 22 is gonna be more accurate. Here, on the side, buddy. Oh, there we go. That is pretty spot on accurate. Actually, could probably go down a little bit more, but these are matching up pretty good now. 32, 33. Come on, Mike. All right, so no. What is everyone doing? Everyone's going on the wrong side of the damn road. Maybe that's why everyone's going around this thing. Man, look at all these people. They're just going on the wrong side. Someone's gonna get in an accident over here. Anyways, we just proved that with a 160-pound-ish rider, you're only getting about 33 miles an hour out of this bike. That's actually still really good for the price of this bike. I think the only people that are really gonna complain about that are gonna be people that are really speed demons and want the most powerful bike for the cheapest price. So now that that's done, I gotta tell you that this is a very, very comfortable bike to sit on. Like, I love the seat, at least for my weight, it feels really good. I'm not having an issue where the pedals are at. I like that there's a long stroke on the pedals, but they don't feel like my legs are coming up too far or going too far down. I mean, this is perfect. I actually really love it. And I feel like my back is never gonna hurt me because I'm sitting upright. The way the handlebar position is and how tall they are, I feel like I'm just sitting straight up and down, and it just feels really nice. The bump I just hit right there did make me feel like the suspension is just ever so slightly a little bouncy. Next, we're gonna do our braking test. I'm gonna do my best to stay around 28 miles an hour. So here we go, it's 28. Stop at this. Ooh, that was actually really good. Really nice and solid. Heck yeah, all right. So you can see that tire was gripping, but I also didn't feel like I was sliding. Now I have a little bit of a curve right there. That could have just been me, but no, that actually hooked up is better than I thought. Now, what's cool about this bike is if you go on their website, you could actually get road tires for this thing, or you can just get it in the off-road, which is kind of made for the road and the street. I really like their street tires, so if it's like an extra $100 to get the street tires, and you get these as well. So I would do that option if you're looking at getting a set of street wheels, and that'll actually help you probably stop better. But I don't think that stop bad at all. That's probably about 15, maybe 20 feet, somewhere around there. So, hey, I take it. That's kind of surprising too, because looking at the name brand of these hydraulic brakes, they're KTET. I've never even heard of these, and I thought the rotors were going to be bigger than this. I was at least hoping for 203 millimeter rotors. These are only 180. So it stopped really good for the size of the rotors. Ooh, this thing handles off-road pretty damn good. I got a lot of control out here, and the suspension so far doesn't feel that bad. The fact that we have non-adjustable suspension, I mean, performing pretty good for me. All right, we're at the hill test. We're gonna see how this thing does with throttle only, and then we're gonna use throttle and pedals as well. So throttle only test right now, 1, 2, 3. All right, so it's struggling a little bit. Like I told you, it's not very fast from like 0 to 5. It looks like it's gonna push us up this hill at about 12, 13 miles an hour. Now we're gonna use the pedals and the throttle. 1, 2, 3, let's go. This should definitely help it. Anything over 13 is a win. Let's get the shifting going on. 13, 14. All right, so 1 more mile per hour if you actually want to use your leg muscles. It's not the most impressive bike when coming up hills. If you do need a bike for hills and you want this same type of design because you really like it, look at getting the Ultra over the Max. I have the Max right now. I want to see how it does off a little jump right here. Oh, we got some air. The suspension is springy. Let's do that one more time. Oh man, that's the most air I think I've got on any of these moped style e-bikes. That was actually pretty clutch right there. Here comes a bridge test with these handlebars. Definitely kind of long, but not crazy long. I like the fact that you still have a lot of room on these handlebars. I was able to put my phone over here. I can also put lights right here. I can also put stuff down here, and I can also even fit something right over here. So that is super nice that the handlebars allow for extra accessories. All right, now because we got gears, let's see how all these gears feel. All right, nothing. Oh, that's nice and smooth. Yeah, no issues with the gearing system on this bike. I didn't even feel a single thing. How does it feel at a lower speed pedaling? Oh man, that is very quick response in the pedals. Here we go, watch, check this out. Yeah, that is quick. That is very quick pedal response. Let's see how the throttle feels on responsiveness. So 1, 2, 3, instant, absolutely instant. That is smooth too. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. No, that's a great throttle response. The only thing that scares me about this setup is the pedals being so fast to respond that I wonder if there's a setting in there that you can change to have the pedal response not kick on as fast. Because I'm one of those people that get to a light, I accidentally might move the pedals and I might like have the bike like rotate and give me power while I'm not trying to, you know, move it. And that might throw me off the bike. Also, I was listening to this bike in the garage and outside with a full face helmet on. Yeah, it's a little loud when you're in the max speed over 30 miles an hour, but it is not that loud. The Ultra is gonna be a lot more louder than the Max. That's gonna have 2 motors, but this is not anywhere close to a bike that has a mid-drive or a chain or anything like that. This is actually pretty quiet to me. And here's one positive thing to note is on here it says I did 7.5 miles, and on here it says I did 8.2. And the reason why you might think that's off, it's not off. That's just because I did 0.8 of a mile before I started recording this whole entire video. So that is pretty accurate on the range if you just want to go off the display. That is awesome. You don't see that on a whole lot of bikes. That's probably actually from me switching the wheel diameter to match up correctly. So if you do get this bike, switch it down to 22 instead of 24. And I can tell as of having 8 miles on this bike roughly that I have lost a little bit of power. If I go all the way back to the voltage on here, I'm at 50.5 volts under throttle and probably gonna go up to about, 53 volts. Again, 3 volt drop. I can definitely feel it as you hit 50 volts that you do start losing a little bit of torque. But it seems like you still do have that top speed. And there you go, 33 miles an hour still. Here's one thing I haven't tried out yet is what's the turning radius? Okay, all right, well that's very short. Okay, so turning radius is that far, which is not that far. So if you're moving it in like a garage or something like that, or trying to go on a sidewalk and make a U-turn, you do have the handle in the back you can grab onto, but not really good turning radius. So you might be making like a 6-point turn to make a U-turn. All right, let's go take it off here. See how it is in the dirt just a little bit more. Try to avoid the workers because they're probably out here working right now. I did get permission to come out here though. Whoa. They are definitely working over here. So we're gonna keep it to over here and go across.
So yeah, see, we got a lot of people over in this area. Make sure to not get ran over right here. Here comes a rock test. Okay, well, rock test not smooth. Rock test not smooth. Now turning on this bike feels fantastic. No issues. It really turns really good. You guys can't complain. I would love to feel how it is with the street tires that they have as an option on their website, but you'll definitely hook up on the road with this thing and it'll be perfectly fine. It's just gonna be a little bit more smoother, I think, with those street tires on. And if you think for whatever reason that the battery on this thing isn't gonna be very good for you, because right now I'm down under 50 volts and it says 60% when I'm on the throttle, you can quickly just buy the extra battery on their website ready to go, or you can buy it separately and you can get double your range on this bike, and it just drops right in, which is super nice. And you still have room to put cups and stuff down there, which is awesome. You don't really get that with a lot of electric bikes nowadays. If you normally rock 2 batteries on an electric bike, you have no room for storage unless you put a basket on the very back of your bike. And then that makes it feel really back heavy, and if it has a lot of power, it makes it want to feel like it's gonna wheelie. Brake test again. Oh yeah, those are good. Wasn't even full on them, but they stopped, no issue. And you know what? They don't make a single noise. You notice that? Not a single squeak, nothing. They are feeling really good. Whatever pads they put on this thing are awesome. Yeah, I gotta say, this thing is performing really good. I like that it feels pretty lightweight for, you know, the concept and how the frame is designed, the battery design. It's gonna get a little bit heavier with an extra battery right there, and obviously if you carry more stuff, but I love it. And if you want a rear rack instead of this little handlebar right here, all you have to do is take these screws off and you can put a rack connected to it. Now, I don't know what the weight limit would be of it, maybe 15 pounds, but you could definitely extend it if you want. And I think this is a pretty solid bike. You're not buying this bike for the torque and acceleration of this thing or the top speed. Obviously, there's better options out there because this thing only does 33 miles an hour with me on it. If you're buying it for your son that's lighter, then maybe he'll go a little bit faster. But overall, I feel like the torque isn't fully there yet on this bike. I mean, it's decent, but it doesn't feel like a peak of 2,000 watts. It doesn't even feel like a 1,500 watt nominal motor. It feels a little bit underpowered. I would love to see this thing in a 60 volt. There's also people on the group pages already converting these things to 72 volt. So if you guys want to learn how to do that, you guys can go on the group page of Luckeep M5 or whatever. I think it's the modders group. I don't actually have the name of the group, but go on there and check it out because there's some really cool stuff. I really think for $1,400, you can't go wrong on buying this bike. You're really buying it for the looks of it, the comfort, and the upgrade path, you know, for the extra battery. The turn signals, obviously they're not in the front, which is unfortunate, but you know, daytime running lights, nice headlight, which we'll test out in the second video. Horn, but I mean, I like it. It's pretty comfortable for me. Not really comfortable if you're gonna take it all off-road. If this is an off-road bike and you have a lot of hills, it's probably not gonna be the perfect bike for you. Definitely look at getting the Ultra if that's the case. And yeah, I'll see you guys on part number 2 when we continue our range test, because right now we're sitting at 78%, 51.9 volts to 10.3 miles. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one in part number 2, hopefully. And if not, join me when we have a dirt bike video. I couldn't hear you.
Hey.
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you said something to me when I was going by. Oh, okay. Thanks, man. I don't know what the heck that guy is talking about. It sounded like he yelled at me for some reason. I don't know. I live in this area, but anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to check out part 2. I'll film it shortly after this one and have it up as soon as possible. What was our max speed? Oh, okay, 33.92. So we almost hit 34 miles an hour.